It is indeed the series finale between the Braves and the Orioles after 3 or 4 hours worth of heavy rain showers in downtown Baltimore. It's turning out to be a nice, albeit hot and muggy night here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. 82 degrees. Look at the humidity, 85%. Calm winds, forecast for mostly cloudy skies, and hopefully, Joe, no interruptions as the Braves finish off this series and start another one tomorrow night in Philly.
Won't have any trouble breaking a sweat tonight, boys. All you got to do is just get out there and move around a little bit because it is close tonight.
Chris Tillman's on the mound. Here's the Oriole defense, and it's an outstanding defense. 39 errors as a team, 28 outfield assists by Reimold, Jones, Davis, and others. Machado and Harvey, a terrific left side of the infield. Jonathan Scope, Ryan Flaherty at first. Tillman and Wieters, the Baltimore battery. The Orioles, with the win last night, Joe, got to 50-49 for the year. And they're starting to turn things around after, frankly, a dreadful start to the month of July.
Yep, they've got it figured out, and all they had to do is really come home. They're 29-18 at home. Awfully tough to beat in this ballpark. There's Chris Tillman. He's 26 years old, 6'5", 210, out of Fountain Valley, California now. That's where he makes his home. He's got 4 years in the big leagues. A former second-round pick, as Chip said, by the Mariners back in 2006. But he's been their workhorse the last couple of years, the guy they go to as their number one. And again, a great ovation here for Nick.
Nick has had himself a good series, 4 for 9 at the plate in his homecoming here in Baltimore. Let's see if he can get things started in the top of the first. And Tillman delivers a quick strike. Akers does have a first inning hit in each of the first 2 games.
And a first pitch hit the first game. Or I'm sorry, last night.
So Tillman ready, and his next is line to third, and Machado is right there for the first out. One away for Cameron Maybin. Talked about this at the pregame show. We know that the Braves offense has hit a dry patch. 2 of the spark plugs were Jace Peterson and Cameron Maybin. Right now, Maybin in a 176 slide since July the 11th.
I think it's exacerbated by the fact that Juan Uribe and Kelly Johnson aren't somewhere in the lineup kind of picking up some of the slack, either with a long ball or a couple of hits. So a lot of the focus is on Cameron and on Jace to try to get things going again.
And a letter high strike. Just like that, it's 0-2. It is obviously the small sample size for Cameron Maybin. See if he can get hot here tonight.
It's rare that I go in the clubhouse after the game and go up to talk to somebody who had a rough night. But last night I was compelled to do that. Cameron was 0 for 5. And he's just 1 for 10 in this series. But especially last night.
A little roller to the right side. The flip to Tillman, who won the race to the bag. 2 out.
And it was all about that. He didn't strike out last night. He put the ball in play, and on each and every effort, he busted it down the line and was hustling. He's the first to know that he's not getting as many hits as he had been getting. So it'd be easy to maybe start feeling sorry for yourself, but he hasn't. Still hustling, and I just wanted him to know, at least I, for one, appreciated it.
Tillman's got a couple of quick outs. Now Freddie Freeman bats. Braves first baseman is on the board with his 13th home run in this series. That came in the first inning last night.
This cracks me up. It's the first inning, and Tillman had to run over and cover first, so the catcher's got to go out there and give him mouth to mouth. I don't know what's going on. Poor guy's not in shape, so you got to let him catch his breath. Really? Gaylord Perry would have kicked Matt Wieters in the hind pockets and said, "Get back there, let's go."
It's hot. No balls at a strike. And that's taken low. Slowly but surely, Freddie Freeman feels like he's getting his timing back. He said he felt like he had 2 good swings last night. The home run swing, obviously, had another good cut on a pitch he fouled away, he said. But he said, "I'm just that much off." And that much off, as you know, is a big difference.
Especially when they're throwing him soft away and he can't go out there and get it, can't stay back enough to go get it. His fastball is a good one. Tillman's 91, 92, sometimes 93 miles an hour, and the changeup, the one that Freddie just swung and missed at the pitch before. Those are his 2 best pitches, and a curveball more than a slider.
Fly ball toward the left field corner, but that's going to reach the second row of seats foul. And the count remains 2-2. He has a pretty unique windup too. It almost looks like he's working out of the stretch, but he's really not. He does get some momentum working.
Just a slight step and then raises his leg up.
Popped up. Long run Machado as the Orioles had the shift on, and he's going to get there on the warning track. Tillman gets the Braves in order. 1, 2, 3. Mike Foltynewicz ready to go to work here in Baltimore. And 49 have won 4 straight, a streak that young Mike Foltynewicz hopes to end in Game 3.
No doubt about that. 23 years old, 6'4", 220, back in the big leagues. I wanted to show you these last 3 outings. They were all out of the bullpen when he got his most recent call up. Braves needed him to work out of the pen. And I tell you what, I hope he's able to take some of what he learned in these outings into this start tonight, which leads us to his 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, go for it. Dominate. Be aggressive. Get after these guys with that upper 90s fastball. And remember Coors, because he was going after people with his fastball more than anything else, and hopefully he'll establish that tonight.
And he turns the first one loose at 92 with some sink. And Manny Machado took it for strike 1. And now a little crossfire at 95 miles an hour, 0-2. Late swing.
Wayne Kirby was a little late getting out of the way too.
Folty's not wasting any time. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss and a big curveball. Good start for Foltynewicz. He did attack Machado in the first sequence tonight.
3 fastballs and then the hook. even on an inside breaking ball. When you got to respect 95 plus, makes it hard to stay back and keep your hands back. Good first batter.
Jimmy Paredes hits at 288. He's hit 10, knocked in 39. Walked and scored here last night. And he's late. Strike one. Fultonevich was 1-6 down at Gwinnett, despite a 349 earned run average. And that one's ripped into right field. Something off speed, and Paredes just stroked it into right.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It kind of had a little hump in it almost by the time it got to the plate. That almost looked like an attempt at a split. That had a funny, almost knuckleball spin to it. So that might be something new he's been working on.
And Mike to the stretch with one out. Here's Adam Jones. Jones 3 for 10 in the series. Singled, doubled, knocked in a run, and scored in game 2. And that's popped up and out of play. Strike one. Fultonevich starting tonight because Manny Banuelos was sent back to Atlanta. It was revealed today he has a bone spur on the outside of his left elbow. It's causing him some discomfort. So Fultonevich gets the start tonight. Popped up. Long run. Jace Peterson, and in foul ground, gets there and is stopped by the tarp. Nice play.
He called that right away. He had a long way to go, but I could hear him calling it all the way up here.
So 2 are out, and here's the man that was the villain in last night's Orioles batting lineup. Chris Davis hits 4th in Buck Showalter's starting 9 tonight, presented by Academy. Davis had homers in his first 2 at-bats, drove in 5 runs in the first 2 innings, those off Julio Teheran. Davis got straightened up with a fastball. Strike one. Baltimore knows they can gain some ground in the playoff race today. Pittsburgh beating Minnesota, one of the teams that the Orioles are trying to catch. That was a 10-4 final at Target Field today. And inside, even count.
Chris Davis, his stance is a little bit of a throwback. I mean, look how high he holds his hands at flat elbow, almost not quite Carl Yastrzemski like, but very high. They eventually come down.
Couldn't check his swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he did.
Runner goes. Pitch is a ball. The throw to second is going to be in time. Andrelton Simmons with the reach and the swipe, and A.J. Pierzynski throws out Jimmy Paredes, and that ends the Orioles' first inning. Baltimore's taking a long look. They might want to challenge, but that would be a bad decision. He was clearly out. And it looks like there won't be a challenge. A.J. guns down a would-be base stealer, and we head to a scoreless second. Thanks to the Braves steal of the week. Club Pavilion tickets just $19.95 each in honor of the 1995 World Series team for the August 6th through 9th series against the Marlins. Be a part of Alumni Weekend. Celebrate the 20th anniversary of the 1995 World Series championship and save 40% off your ticket to the ballpark. For more info, visit braves.com/steal. This is Adonis Garcia, and he's made quite an impression offensively. Couple of homers, couple of RBIs, and a hard hit ball that Scope couldn't corral. Well, he turned the glove over.
He turned it the wrong way.
Yeah, and Garcia with a rocket leads off the second inning for Atlanta. That's an error.
Markakis hit a rocket right at Machado. This is right at Scope, but he has his glove turned to the backhand. I don't know if that's to be able to get his face behind his arm to protect himself or what it was. It's an E4.
Only the 40th by an Oriole this year. Here's A.J. Przinsky. A.J.'s riding a 4-game streak. And he tried to bunt.
I like it. I like it. Run at first and nobody out. Get an inning going by taking advantage of that opening.
Of all the Braves, Przinsky's seen Tillman the most. And that's how to play foul. A.J. is 6 for 21 against him in his career, including a home run.
Tillman's last start was at Tampa Bay. Got a no decision and a 3-1 loss. But he was brilliant. 7 innings, a 2-hit ball, only gave up 1 run.
0-2. Double play ball. And an easy turn. So the Orioles shifted. A.J. tried to hit it the other way, but he hit it right to Machado, who is perfectly positioned. And just like that, there are 2 outs. That was a 5-6-3 double play. And now Andrelton Simmons steps in. He's got 12 hits in his last 12 games. His bat is coming back to life. Right there, a strike. It's bounced out of play, foul. It's 0-2. Key to Tillman, keep the game close and hope he falters in the middle innings.
I would say so. Those are really ugly telltale ERAs. You can see where his problems have been early in the season, and particularly in the first half.
But he should have no trouble with a comebacker. He doesn't. A double play and a bouncing ball to the mound ends the Atlanta second. Davis will get another look at Mike Foltynewicz as we're still scoreless. In the second, Mike Fultonevich ready for his second inning of work. Let's check out the Atlanta defense behind it. Different look tonight with Nick Markakis serving as the Braves' designated hitter. Yuri Perez takes over for him in right. Adonis Garcia's in left with Cameron Maybin in center. Daniel Castro's the third baseman. Always good to see Freddie Freeman at first base. And as you know, A.J. Brzezinski is back behind the plate.
Fultonevich did a good job of getting ahead of Chris Davis. Now he's got to do it again.
Caught stealing ended the inning. So a new set of strikes for the Baltimore right fielder. He started him with a breaking ball.
Great call. If pitchers threw their curveball like they throw it on a first pitch get over for a strike curveball, there wouldn't be any such thing as hangers. It's when they get into different counts and all of a sudden they got to throw that A1 hard breaking ball that all of a sudden it's a tumbler.
Davis just broke his bat. Simmons backpedals and he's going to make the play. And he hugs it like he loves it. Makes the play for out number one.
Well, when you're playing with a guy you don't know very well and what his range is out in left field, yeah, you catch it and you hump up. And hope he's not going to
crash into. Here's Wieters. The former star at Georgia Tech was the hitting hero in the 11th inning here on Monday. His fourth home run.
I had a scout tell me that those two hits he got, the one in the 9th and then the winner in the 11th, were probably the two best swings he's taken all year since he came back from the DL.
Well, they need him. I mean, that's one of the issues that the Orioles are having. Despite all the home runs they hit, they're looking for a bat at the deadline. Maybe if Wieters gets hot in the second half, he'll be that bat. No balls, 2 strikes. All the way to the screen.
I read a quote from Buck Showalter today, though, that he said, you know what, if this is our team, I'm happy with it. I like our team. I like the way they're playing. And I like their moxie. That's what he said.
Huh. It was a happy anniversary for Buck Showalter. He was hired 5 years ago today. Baltimore was 31-70 when Buck Showalter took over. They finished the 2010 season on a 34-23 run. Perez on the run, still going. That ball's going to bounce off the fence and over the fence. And the Braves can't figure out a way to retire Matt Wieters. That's 4 straight hits for him in the series. And it's a 1-out double.
Looked like another breaking ball or off-speed pitch. I hope it wasn't that split attempt again. It looked like just a breaking ball. But it stayed in the park, at least on a bounce.
And that brings up J.J. Hardy, the hottest Oriole hitter, riding an 11-game hitting streak.
I mentioned getting to watch this Orioles club last year in the first round of the playoffs against the Tigers, and they faced in order Scherzer, Verlander, and David Price, and the way they beat them and swept them was outstanding ABC baseball, fundamental offensive baseball. They didn't figure to get a lot of chances, but they did capitalize, and then when they got in the Detroit bullpen, it was hello,
game over.
Game over to Cody Gagne.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Just a tick past 8 o'clock here in Baltimore. Started about 20 minutes late. And that just missed at 2-2. After the Braves leave town, Detroit's exactly who Baltimore is going to face next. A 4-game series starts here tomorrow night. Then they go west. 2-2. And Hardy couldn't stop himself. Fulte struck him out. 2 down in the inning.
2 strikeouts for Mike. And coming into this start for the year at the big league level, he had right at a strikeout per inning pitch, just short of that.
Nolan Reimold is hitting 7th tonight. He batted leadoff on Monday. This is a dramatically different looking Baltimore team, as we've talked about, than it was last season. Cruz is gone. Markakis is now a Brave. Delman Young let go. So out of necessity, they've had to have Manny Machado lead off with his 21 homers, but a lot of those homers are solo shots. And so they tried Reimold in the first spot, dropped Machado down into a run scoring position in the batting order, a run producing spot, hoping to capitalize on his power with men on base. Hasn't happened much for the Orioles. Wieters leads at second. And a check swing back at foul.
But there's somewhere for me that the loss of Markakis, the loss of Nelson Cruz, those are big offensive parts. But they got back Machado, who was hurt. They got back Wieters. They have him back now. And they got Chris Davis back from suspension. Those are 3 big bats that should be able to pick up the slack.
1-2 count. That's way high. AJ checked the glove and the webbing. Ball was sizzling in. Well, this is game number 100 for the Orioles. 63 games to play if you count this one. That's an eternity. They could and are very capable of going on a run. They've got 6 more games with the Yankees. They have 4 games head-to-head with the Twins here in Baltimore in late August. They're finished with Houston. Lost that series 4 games to 3. And they have 7 games left with the Toronto Blue Jays. Full count pitch. And Reimold popped it up foul.
Flaherty on deck. 2 outs in the inning, a base open, and instead of just throwing the automatic 3-2 fastball, he threw his curveball, and it was a good pitch.
Was off his foot foul, and we will do it again. Toronto leads the Phillies in the 4th inning. Troy Tulowitzki is debuting tonight for the Blue Jays. That game is being played at the Rogers Center. Justin Verlander beat Tampa Bay today 2-1. It was, by the way, a successful debut for Troy Tulowitzki. Hit a homer in his 2nd at bat.
Did he?
And ball 4 to Reimold. 2 on, 2 out.
He'll like hitting in that ballpark just like he liked hitting at Coors Field.
Ryan Flaherty is 0 for his last 19. He'll be 0 for 20 if somebody catches this can of corn. Simmons drifts out. Maben says he's got it, and he does. That's the inning. We're off to the 3rd. No score. It's Hall of Fame bobblehead night. Friday, August 14th against the Diamondbacks. Brought to you by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans through the gates get a bobblehead featuring the newly minted Hall of Famer John Smoltz. For tickets, go to Braves.com.
I like that lady's hat. She's got some sparkle farkle working on that Atlanta hat.
From Hawaii to Baltimore, Maryland.
Makes sense to me. Where you got to go to see a Braves game tonight.
There you go. Bruce Peterson starts things off and takes ball one. Three homers, 41 knocked in for the Braves' second sacker. Obviously, we need him to find his hitting stroke again. Jace has only 19 hits since June the 20th.
He put a good swing on the ball late last night. His last at bat, he drove in a run. He also got hit in last night's game and almost got hit again.
Line to third again. That's twice Machado's been Johnny on the spot. One out. And to Yuri Perez, the hitter. He's batting .272. We've seen Perez in left most of the time. Starting in right tonight while Markakis DHs.
He could play right field. He has the arm for right field. And should Freddie Gonzalez choose to make a switch there and move Nick to left field, this guy could play right if for no other reason than his arm.
Now to play right side, it's an even count. Arizona won today. They beat King Felix 8-2. Out at Safeco Field, the Diamondbacks have won 5 straight games. Rumor mill has them in the hunt for Aroldis Chapman at the deadline.
Well, they've played well. I give them a lot of credit. I don't think anybody was talking about the Diamondbacks to do anything this year, and they're only 2 games under 500 now.
Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. They've gotten Patrick Corbin back from Tommy John surgery. Paul Goldschmidt, a legitimate MVP candidate for them at first base. The Diamondbacks just finished off a great series in Seattle. That's far away.
A.J. Pollock's playing well for him in center field. Strong up the middle.
Fly ball toward right center. And this will be tracked down by Chris Davis. 2 out.
That was a good read by Jones. You know, for a guy who can really go get him in center and was shading that way, he recognized right away that ball was slicing back toward Davis, so there's no reason to get in his way. And he made a move, but look, did you see how quickly he pulled up on it?
Daniel Castro bats. And he's a little late. Castro, with his 3rd at bat, is on his 2nd number as a Brave. He started with number 14. Got a hit, went back to AAA. Now he's back and wearing number 11.
I see Daniel in the clubhouse. I see him in the hotel, and I swear the proverbial bat boy thing comes along.
Back to the mound. Nice play by Tillman.
That's 10 outs in this series where the pitcher has either had a comebacker or covered first for the out.
Now, there is one Oriole that has been majorly today. Earlier today in the clubhouse, well, Alex Wood was lucky enough to have an encounter with Hall of Famer Jim Palmer. And Palmer helped him with pitching tips, pitching grips, and philosophies. Woody had never met Palmer before that encounter, and the good bit of time they spent together was, in Woody's words, guys, awesome.
Swing and a drive by Jonathan Schoop. That's headed for the bullpen. A first pitch home run. When Baltimore homers, they usually win. Schoop just hit his 7th, and the Birds strike first.
This is I'll call it the slowest fastball he's thrown tonight. This was 93, first pitch of the inning, and it was right there. Good swing, and it definitely had that sound. 93 miles an hour.
You know, Schoop spelled backwards is pokes, and he just poked a long one into the bullpen. Machado struck out his first time. This is the silly season in baseball. As you know, the deadline is 4 o'clock Eastern time on the 31st. Ken Rosenthal of Fox Sports has some interesting information. As this pitch is popped up in a shallow center. Peterson out, Maven in, can't get there. Broken bat hit from Machado. Earlier today, Michael Morse and Matt Latos were sent to the Dodgers for 3 minor league players. That deal is apparently being held up because of player physicals. Ken Rosenthal is reporting that there was a 3rd team involved in that trade. That 3rd team, Ken Rosenthal reports, is the Braves. But no details have yet been offered by the Fox Sports reporter Ken Rosenthal. If we hear anything, or if Ken reports anything, we'll pass it along. Here's Paredes. 1 in, 1 on, nobody out. And a strike. Good cut. And fouled straight back.
Paredes hit a split finger type of pitch for a single his first time up. I don't think they will make that mistake again.
We have not seen too many sliders from Fulton Evans tonight, have we?
No, we've seen that get over curveball to start it. and at bat for a hitter, but not the hard slider down and in that he was working on when he first came up.
Nothing wrong with a good live fastball let her high, and Paredes couldn't catch it. Adam Jones, the batter, with a man aboard and 1 out. Jones with a 15-homer year working is 1 homer away from tying Ken Singleton for 7th on the all-time Orioles home run list. Ken, a terrific broadcast of the Yankees now.
Well, what a lineup. I talked about the pitching core the other night when they were going good in the late 70s, early 80s. Their lineup was awesome too, including Ken Singleton.
Even count for the Orioles all-star center fielder Adam Jones.
That was the split finger again, and if that's his effort and he's been putting in the work to try to develop an off-speed pitch and that's it, it's still a work in progress.
This brings up an interesting conversation. Is this a one-off start for Mike Foltynewicz? Will he stay in rotation, or will Williams Perez be brought back up? Jones found one off his foot. Perez has been pitching very well in AAA, coming back from that ball off the foot in Pittsburgh, it was?
Yes, line drive. They right on the inside of the left foot, I believe it was.
So right now, the Braves have a surplus of young starting pitching. Away again by Jones. It's still 2-2. Popped him up, and Perez in right will have plenty of room. 2 outs. Jones has popped down twice. He's 0 for 2, and here's Davis. Davis had his 10th career multi-homer game last night, and is the 3rd big leaguer this year to hit homers in the first 2 innings of any game this season. Chris Bryant of the Cubs has done it, and Davis's teammate Manny Machado has done it. When you're 2 for 2 with 2 homers and 5 RBIs and you're only in the 2nd inning, that's a good night. One ball, no strikes. Launched toward left. Garcia in the corner, runs out of room.
There's a little bit of Josh Hamilton's swing in Chris Davis in the way his shoulders tilt aiming up, and it's a bit of an uppercut. His follow through, a little bit like Hamilton in his heyday.
Curve. It was a good one. 1-2.
I know Scope just hit a home run on a fastball, but as we told you, it was 93 miles an hour. Everything else he's been throwing tonight has been 95 plus. And to my recollection, nobody's gotten around on one.
Just a touch too high, even count. There's the breaking ball again. A couple of very impressive benders in the sequence and in the inning as well. However, Mr. Scope cleared the fences in left center field for the Orioles. His 7th homer, and Baltimore's jumped in front. Fourth inning. It's time for you now to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag SouthDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile. Tillman's faced the minimum through his first 3 innings, has yet to allow a hit, but as we showed you, his ERA rises after the first 3 innings and rises even further in the 7th inning on. Let's see if that proves true as the Blades get their second look at him here in the 4th. Ball 1 to Markakis, who lined out his first time up. I think the Mariners would like to do a redo on that deal they made with the Orioles for Eric Bedard.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one.
Belted out of play, foul. February 8th, 2008. Adam Jones, George Sherrill, Chris Tillman, Cam Micolio, and Tony Butler for left-hander Eric Bedard. Jones, a 5-time All-Star. Tillman, a workhorse starter, and Markakis guides one inside the line, fair to left. And that's his 5th hit of the series. Buck Showalter, as we mentioned the other night, said, look, Nick Markakis is coming back to town. We know what he's going to do. He'll get 9 hits in 3 games. Well, he's got 5 so far.
Fastball away. Take it that way.
Nick now with 111 hits in 100 games. Here's Maven. Just a bit low. It's an even count.
Cameron's been having to hit behind in the count a lot too. He's been aggressive and going after some pitches and either fouling them off or missing them, and then having to guard the plate.
Machado, second one, first in time. Boy, quick turn and a strong arm by Scope at second. Double play.
Scope's a big guy too. Saw his power on the home run. He could stand there and have guys slide into him all day. I don't think he could knock him off his feet. For second baseman. Ooh. That was close. But yeah, Scope's got a good arm.
So double plays in 2 of the 4 innings so far for Tillman tonight. And Freddie Freeman, the hitter. Again, the Orioles have a shift on. He's got the left side of the infield to play with if he wants to go that way. And for Baltimore, that would be a moral victory. Bouncing ball. And Hardy loads up and gets Freeman. Nick Markakis led off with a single, but a double play and a ground out sends us to the home 4th.
Sports and outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Joe and Chip with you from Baltimore, where the Orioles have struck first. Jonathan Scope solo homer is the only run so far. We want to send out congratulations to our friend Christina Atkins and her husband Mike on the birth of their daughter Dylan Marie Atkins, born yesterday at 3:19 p.m. 6 pounds 8 ounces. Mom and Dylan are doing great. We understand.
Great news. And Dylan's birthday is on our producer Brian Woodward's birthday.
How about that?
And John Coppola's birthday. So she's in good company.
Wieters doubled his first time and takes a ball. 2 balls, no strikes. Hit foul to the left. It's 2-1. There was some reasoning behind the decision to start Mike Fultonevich instead of Williams Perez in tonight's game for Manny Banuelos, and it had everything to do with the way the AAA schedule worked. Popped up. AJ gives chase and won't have a play. It's 2-2. Fultonevich had more rest than Williams Perez. Fulton's turn was tonight in AAA. Perez, I think, was tomorrow or the next night. And it wasn't enough recuperative time for Williams Perez to make this start, so the calendar worked in Fultonevich's favor. 2-2 is high and tight.
And as Freddie said on his pregame show on radio, he said that there's a lot can happen between now and Friday with the trading deadline too. So they just wait.
Chase to his left, smothers and throws to first.
And in other words, when this turn comes around again in the rotation, we'll see where we are.
J.J. Hardy was out on a check swing strikeout back in the second. Fultonevich has 4 of those tonight. He's walked but 1.
Yes. And he had a base open with 2 outs that he threw a 3-2 breaking ball that got fouled off. Then he missed with a fastball away on that particular walk, so that wasn't a big deal. But geez, just keep firing that fastball. Get after it. That was a pretty good pitch. You're right, Mike.
Freddie will give chase, won't have a play as that one's popped foul. And it's now 1-2 for J.J. Hardy. Can the Orioles chase down the Twins? Can they chase down the Astros in the wild card? More importantly, can they chase down the Yankees in the AL East? AJ tried to steal a strike there, didn't get the call. 2-2. Baltimore's only 2 games over 500 within the division. The Yankees are 24-17. That's the best mark against all the other AL East clubs. Hardy drives one to left, and this one's not coming back.
Breaking ball. I just don't like to see Mike get beat on breaking pitches. Hardy did a nice job of staying back. I don't know if he was looking for it, but he kept his hands back, and that short porch to left didn't take much.
So 2 solo homers for Baltimore tonight. They lead 2-0. And Hardy extends his hitting streak now to 12 games. Broken bat popped toward first, and Freeman in foul ground gets there. Reimold sawed off.
Yeah, 95 in his kitchen, breaking his back. I like that a whole lot better.
That thing was moving too.
Oh, man. That is in your kitchen in baseball terms.
Flaherty popped out to center and couldn't stop himself. No balls and a strike. Popped up again. Right behind second base. Andrelton Simmons is there, and that retires the side. J.J. Hardy is red hot. He's got a 12-game hitting streak. He just picked up his 7th home run on a breaking ball. After 4, it's the Orioles 2, Atlanta nothing. More tonight. Adonis Garcia leads off for the Braves. He reached on a Jonathan Scope error, leading off the second. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Well, he's got to feel like he has hit the jackpot with this road trip he's on and the way he's swinging the bat and being the cleanup hitter now for the Atlanta Braves.
Off the pitcher's glove, out to Hardy. Backhanded stab, throw to first, got it.
I don't know that J.J. Hardy even knew he had a play on this. He just was, you know what, I'll give it another college try.
Are they playing with 7 defenders on the infield in this series?
And that was going to be up the middle for a hit had it not deflected off the pitcher, so he gets credit for another assist.
The leadoff man retired. A.J. Pierzynski bats and takes low. Ball 1. Tillman has had to work this year with a bare minimum of run support. The Orioles have given him 2 runs or less in 10 of his 19 starts this season. As this one's popped down the left field line. That one is going to turn to gold. It drops in for a blue pit for A.J. Pierzynski. And that's the second hit of the night for the Braves.
So again, the Orioles defense keeping it from being a real good start to the inning with both guys reaching.
Buck Showalter has managed the Yankees, the Diamondbacks, the Rangers, and now the Orioles. He guided the Birds to the 2014 American League Eastern title last year. There's a line drive to left off the bat of Andrelton Simmons. So here we are, second time through the order. Braves appear to be getting better swings.
Tomahawk there by Andrelton. And you're right, Chip. Those numbers don't lie about the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings for Chris Tillman. Getting the ball up. Great contact.
So maybe this is what the doctor ordered for Jace Peterson. 2 on, 1 out. He lined out his first time up. Baltimore has 2 runs on 2 solo homers. One by Scope, one by Hardy. And up and away. Ball 1. Fly ball toward Davis and right. 2 outs. And the fate of the inning rests in the hands of Yuri Perez.
Got that right off the end of the bat. Just a fraction lower on the barrel, and he's got a chance to get that thing out of here.
Perez also flat out to right in his first at bat in the game. Singles by Przinsky and Simmons. But now there are 2 outs. If you do get a hit, you've got to be very wary of a point Joe made very early in the series. The Orioles have 28 outfield assists. Even if you do get a hit, it's no guarantee you're going to score a run.
They've all got good arms. They play shallow. I mean, even Davis and right now. Look how shallow he is for Perez.
Does that play tricks with you in the batter's box when you see a...
No, not so much.
No?
No. Not depth-wise. Maybe being overplayed to the off field, perhaps. That'd get your attention.
1 ball, 1 strike. And a ground ball toward first. Kicked by Flaherty. Pitcher covers and got there in time. Even when the Orioles boot a ball, they still make a play. A couple of excellent plays by the Baltimore defense. One by J.J. Hardy. One by the pitcher, Chris Tillman. so far.
Jonathan Schoop ambushed the first pitch of the inning back in the 3rd inning and hit it into the Orioles bullpen. That made it 1-0. We got another homer from J.J. Hardy in the 4th, just last inning on a high curveball. You know, I know a guy can't live just throwing fastballs, but there are some pitchers who have won games in recent years by throwing 90% fastballs. They didn't throw many off-speed pitches. They may have wasted one here and there. So without with the DH, since Mike's turn's not going to come up to hit leading off the 6th inning, go as hard as you can for as long as you can until somebody turns your fastball around and you say, okay, they made some adjustments. But they haven't.
I wonder if, and I'm sure it has, so I'm just thinking out loud here, I wonder if the Braves have thought about having Fultonevich talk with Ross Detweiler, who's on this staff. Ross Detweiler pitches very similarly to Mike Fultonevich. 95% of the pitches he throws are fastballs. He doesn't throw a breaking ball too often. And Buck Showalter is out. He's talking with Jim Wolf.
Is this another hit batsman deal?
Our count shows 3 balls, no strikes. The count on the center field scoreboard shows 2 balls and a strike for Jonathan Schoop. I think Buck's asking, was that last pitch in the zone or not?
Let's take a look at the 3 pitches on our PNC Bank Fox tracks. 2 well wide of the zone, the other one right at the bottom of the zone. It's just a matter of whether or not Jim Wolf gave that pitch to Fulke.
So Jim will put the mask on, and I assume he'll tell us all what the count is.
And maybe he won't.
So we'll stick with 2 balls and a strike. There's one right on by, 2-2. But does that make sense? Fultonevich and Detweiler. One's a left-handed guy. Fulte's a power righty. That'd be a
truthfully,
no. Okay,
it doesn't. Not to me.
AJ put his hands up, hoping that the ricochet wasn't going to clip him in the back of the neck. And Schoop happy that didn't pop him on the way by.
Well, I'm glad it didn't get him either, because that would have been a bad one. And we didn't miss him by much. But altogether another reason why you just keep pounding that fastball, because they're not sure where it's going.
That one went off the plate. It's a leadoff walk, and that's how the home 5th starts.
That was an absolute attempt to make sure he didn't throw another pitch inside that might risk hitting him. He pulled that way over in the left-handed batter's box. No, because that's no disrespect to Ross Detweiler. I'm just saying, if you want to talk to somebody in the league, in the organization, on your team that pitches the way you do, and that's hard to find anybody else on your team that's throwing in the mid-90s.
My point, though, is just percentage of arsenal. Detweiler's almost all fastballs is flare to right, and Manny Machado has a hit, and Schoop's going to challenge the arm. The throw to third's going to nail him.
How about that?
Schoop trying to go first to third, and there's that arm of Yuri Perez you were talking about. Another assist from the Braves outfield.
And one of the other things that grabs your attention about Perez's arm is how accurate he has been. Throws to home from left field, and now we get to see him really cut it loose from right field. Schoop took a look, stopped, and then decided to go, and that was a bad decision. Perfect one-hop throw. Tried to give him the swim move. Didn't work.
So great throw. Raises Scope at third base.
I understand what you're saying, Chip, and I follow your line of thinking. I just don't think there's a comparison there for those two guys.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I just thought it was a interesting idea. As Paredes digs in. And didn't get a breaking ball. Strike one. Paredes singled in the first and was thrown out trying to steal while Chris Davis batted. So he's 1 for 2. His second at bat was a strikeout. Washington's winning tonight in Miami. That's 5-2 in the 6th. San Diego is all over the Mets tonight, 6-1. Bartolo Colon started for the Mets this evening. Mets earlier today were rumored to be hot on the heels of Carlos Gomez, the Brewers center fielder.
Wow. I know Lagares has had some injury issues this year. He was a Gold Glove center fielder last year.
1 ball, 1 strike. David Wright has begun baseball activities. Travis d'Arnaud caught 9 innings yesterday for the Mets. He could be activated in the next couple of days for New York. Mets are playing good ball right now, but still trying to get their offense back together. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now 1-2.
Mike's last start at Gwinnett at Rochester. He got shut out 4-0. No run support. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts.
Fly ball toward Perez in right. He's got it, 2 outs. Here's Adam Jones. He's popped out twice.
That mistake made by Scope at third base, a fundamental mistake made first out of the inning at third. You don't like to make the first or third out at third base. But it was kind of the way he tried to perhaps lure Perez into thinking he wasn't going to go to third. That will probably result in a little conversation with Buck Showalter.
Snap throw back to first. Jones didn't get an off-speed pitch. Strike 1.
Right away, just pop the leather. Let it go.
Foul at the plate and a 1-2 count.
As we saw earlier tonight on a strikeout there, the one we broke Reimel's bat. He's got some good late life on his fastball too. They're not all just four-seamer straight down the pike fastballs. So you're not getting around on it. I don't care where it is. When it's 95 and above, they are not putting the ball in play. And he can do that, it seems like, every pitch if he wants to.
And it really is true. Won't the hitter tell you what kind of stuff a pitcher has?
Yeah.
A lot of late swings by the Orioles. They've connected twice, 2 solo homers. And Foltynewicz has scattered 6 hits. Swing and a miss by Jones. And Przinsky will make the peg to first. That was an odd play.
Yeah, it was.
Machado was breaking off the bag at first, and Adam Jones, with a very awkward swinging strikeout, sends our game to the 6th. Vegas tickets are $19.95 each in honor of the 1995 World Series for the August 6th through 9th series against the Marlins. Be a part of Alumni Weekend. Celebrate the 20th anniversary of the 1995 Braves Championship and save up to 40% off each ticket to the ballpark. Go to Braves.com/steal tonight only to take advantage of this great offer.
Those are cool seats too, at the club level, down in the pavilion, down the line a little bit, but 40% off. Good deal.
It looks like the Marlins will have a different look to their team when they get to Atlanta. Still waiting on official confirmation of the Matt Latos Michael Morse trade.
It's already a lot different than when we saw him earlier in the year with no Stanton, no Prado.
And Henderson Alvarez out for the year. Shoulder surgery.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cishek's gone.
But we'll see Jose Fernandez, who won again yesterday. He's now 4-0 this year, and he's run his home record to 15-0 at Marlins Park.
That's great.
Ground ball by Castro out to second. There's the first out in the top of the 6th.
That's great for their fans, knowing that when he's pitching at home, sure, want to go watch him stretch the record or win again at Marlins Park.
Every time we see him, I want the Braves to beat him. But as a fan of the game, I love seeing pitchers like Fernandez and DeGrom and Syndergaard and Harvey go to the mound. No spoil with the Braves starting pitching. It's great to see the bright young stars in the other clubs too. Boy, the East figures to be a nightmare for years to come with all the pitching that the Eastern clubs in the National League are piling up. Markakis takes high, 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, the way teams, and the Braves were one of them this offseason, that are willing to acquire players in trade that are recovering from Tommy John surgery. It's almost like, hey, he's already had it done, so we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. High risk, high reward.
Yeah, so maybe Zach Wheeler's a guy so that they don't have to disrupt their rotation as it is right now. The Mets may shop him out there for anybody that might be interested.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Nick pops one out of play, foul. It's 1-2. Was Carlos Beltran the price for Zach Wheeler? He was
Yes.
a giant.
Yes. Zach Wheeler was taken by the Giants with the draft pick right in front of the Braves, who then took Mike Minor.
One ball, 2 strikes. And Nick didn't get a high fastball. That's his first strikeout in the game.
One of his best fastballs, too. Just got him to go up the ladder. Finally, a hitter's count here for Cameron Maben. They've been feeding him a steady diet of breaking pitches. Let's see if they throw him on 2-0.
Ripped into the seats. I mean, shillelagh. Little pop, and Flaherty is there, and that'll be the inning. 3 out, 3 down in the Atlanta 6th. Runs have been tough to come by on the road trip, and Tillman, a hot pitcher, is making life tough. Home runs by J.J. Hardy and Jonathan Scope against Mike Foltynewicz. All the offense tonight. And it's time for our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Which Atlanta Brave has the highest batting average all time against the American League East with a minimum of 35 at-bats?
Well, it's not many at-bats.
Nope.
No, so that wouldn't be anybody that would have had to have been with the Braves for a real long time, but it could be.
Right. How did Andrew Jones do in interleague play? Remember?
Chip, I have a steel trap mine, but it doesn't go back that way.
So in that case, it's a rusty steel trap with regards to that question.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
That trap has been sprung.
Yes. 2 balls and a strike.
My recollection is that Andrew played great defense against him.
Pop fly foul out of play. Well, he had a great World Series, didn't he?
Yeah.
A couple of homers in the World Series as a teenager. Swing and a miss. That's what you've been talking about.
Get after it. It's 6. Can't catch up to that stuff.
Another swing and a miss. Six strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 homers for Foltynewicz. Here he is at roughly 100 pitches, still throwing 94, 95, 96 miles an hour.
He is a horse. .37 of his pitches at 95 or better. I love that stat.
And if you wondered if Mike is working hard, get a look at his glove hand. When he turns around, look at the perspiration that is wringing the strap of the glove. 1-2 is high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That 37 pitch count, I wish it was 67.
There's another one. He didn't like the location, but he likes the result.
Yeah, but see, that's great to see him react that way. It's like he knew he got away with a guy chasing a bad pitch, but doesn't have to go that high with it. That's a great reaction. He had a stretch of games when he was with the big club. May 6th, the Phillies, 7 strikeouts. 3 straight starts after that. So 4 straight starts with 7 strikeouts against the Phillies, Reds, Tampa Bay, and Milwaukee. And then at San Francisco, he struck out 8. 5 straight starts where he was dealing, and he can do this. See, they're not catching up even in this, what inning in the 6th, bottom of the 6th inning?
Right.
He's over 100 pitches. They still haven't caught up to it. I know, okay, 93 fastball that was hit in the bullpen. That was a 93 fastball, first pitch of an inning, and I don't know why it was 93. I don't know if it was a 2-seamer. I don't know what the deal was. But that wasn't his 4-seam heater.
The other one was a hanging curveball.
Yes.
And then he drops over the slider or the curveball. Take your pick.
Have an inning.
And he just struck out the side. 8 strikeouts for Mike Foltynewicz. Now the Braves have to get him some runs. It's 2-0 Baltimore in Game 3.
Fox Sports celebrates 50 years of the Atlanta Braves.
Love that last picture of Ralph Garr on that billboard coming back from break as we celebrate some of the Braves stars. Over 50 years in Atlanta. Ralph is with the team here in Baltimore, and he has been a delight. Great man to talk to about Braves baseball in the 70s. That man is an encyclopedia of baseball knowledge and always has a smile on his face.
He is a Brave scout. Works out of Houston.
Into the shift. Freeman rolls out. And he's the first.
So the draft's over. They've signed most of their players. He was so excited about how many of the draft picks the Braves signed this year, how hard all the scouts were working out there to get these guys. And now he's an observer. You know, he's in uniform. He's watching. He doesn't miss anything. And he's just watching to see what's going on the field, how these guys go about their business. He's an observer. I think it's a great idea.
Adonis Garcia. And the other part of that, too, I would think, Joe, is, as you said, Ralph works in the minor leagues, scouts, goes and sees all the young clubs, works out of Houston. He would be a very valuable voice into seeing how things fit at the major league level with what's coming in the Braves farm system. And so if the Braves do make trades, either now or in the offseason, that's just a little more advanced intelligence and information that can be given to John Campolella, John Hart, Freddie Gonzalez.
No, and I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's already been asked his opinion on a lot of that.
Swing and a miss. 2 outs in the 7th. Garcia's retired on strikes, 2 of them from Tillman. He's only 3-4 at home, but he's shutting out Atlanta in Game 3 of the series.
But he's pitching like he has pitched over his last 9 starts.
Braves have 3 hits. A.J. Pierzynski has 1 of them. He's got 3 hits in the series. And he's got a 5-game hitting streak. Right off his thumbs and back to the screen. It's an even count. Cardinals and Reds are underway. That game's in St. Louis. 1-0 Cincinnati in the 6th inning.
Cincinnati's giving them fits.
And one of the men that gave him fits was Mike Leake. Boy, was he good. 8 innings of shutout ball.
I need to tell you, if anybody's had their eye on him, I think he probably satisfied everybody.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And now 2-2. Let's have some very attractive players to offer. Leake, Jay Bruce, maybe a Walders Chapman.
On the rumor mill today, I heard that Chapman not expected to go anymore because the Reds' price is way too high.
As you'd expect, yeah, right? That fan earned a contract with a nice catch. 2-2 pitch. AJ tries to bloop one into left. That ball is going to be caught. Running catch in left by Nolan Reimold. And it's 3 up, 3 down again for Atlanta. We head to the stretch. Braves Franchise 4 t-shirt that includes the Braves Franchise 4 representatives Henry Aaron, Chipper Jones, Warren Spahn, and Greg Maddux. Packages begin at $48 per seat. Visit Braves.com/franchise4 to take advantage of this limited time offer today. The night is done for Mike Foltynewicz. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 2 runs on 2 solo homers. He threw strike 1 to 19 of 25 batters he faced tonight. And now the Orioles will take a peek at Braves reliever David Aardsma.
David pitched here last night. Just an inning, an easy inning. 1, 2, 3 in the 8th. But for Folty, great work, especially after the home run by Hardy on the breaking ball. It was like, okay, enough of this. And he got busy. Hopefully it wasn't too much for the Braves to overcome. They're down by only 2.
Reimold, Flaherty, and Scope is the trio up for Baltimore. And Aardsma pumps over a strike. It's 0-1. Mile-high pop into center. Maben drifts back a step or 3 and puts the squeeze on that. 1 down. Time to take a look at our DirecTV standings. The National League East is bunched up at the top. The Nationals began play tonight a game ahead of the Mets. Washington is winning. The Mets are losing tonight. So that could be a 2-game split with a huge series head-to-head with those two teams in New York this weekend.
That'll be fun to keep an eye on.
Pop fly left side. Castro won't have a play. It's a strike for Ryan Flaherty.
This is purely for my own entertainment.
Yes.
But I just can't help it. I mean, it happened in the first game of this series.
Oh. And you're going there, aren't you?
Yeah, I want to see it again. Flaherty knocks it down, and then his arm won't work. He can't get that left arm going. Come on. Come on, left arm.
I was laughing today.
I got a name for him.
Oh, go, yeah.
In honor of one of the great restaurants in St. Simon's, his new nickname is Crab Daddy.
Love it. I had a feeling you were going to go there today because before the game, Roger McDowell, who used to pitch here in Baltimore, brought in a treat for the rest of the coaching staff. He brought in some of the blue crabs with the Old Bay seasoning in a big brown bag and had it spread out in one of the tables in the coach's office. I got to tell you, you showed remarkable restraint not going after one of those mallets. Popped up again, and another chance for the fans for a souvenir.
Well, I did, because I'm not a nut about him like my in-law family is, but I watched Jose Castro, the assistant hitting coach. He looked like his hands and mouth looked like a chainsaw.
Right?
There were wood chips flying everywhere.
Did you have to wear a smock to sit in the room next to Carlos?
I was afraid we were going to have to get some goggles.
Oh, man. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I like the blue crabs. I call them crabs with pull tabs.
Yeah, right.
But there's so much work. Right?
Yeah, you got to earn it. But people up here, they're veterans. They know how to do it. It's easy. Crab Daddy.
2-2. Here it is. In the air. Maben on the run. Got there. A step or 2 shy of the track. Flaherty hit it hard.
That reminds me that I was reminded about another player that's on the disabled list for the Orioles that has not returned to the form he had last year, and that was Steve Pearce. He came out of nowhere last year for them and had a great year. 21 homers, 49 RBIs, and this year he's on the DL with a bad oblique, but only a .227 average this year with 7 homers when he got hurt.
So with 62 games left after tonight, the Orioles deficit in the East is 7 games. Stranger things have happened for sure. Their most likely route would be the wild card, I would think.
Yeah.
As they're right behind the Twins, who are right behind the Astros. Minnesota and Houston would be the 2 wild card teams. How cool is that in the American League at the moment?
Well, Toronto just got better.
Right.
And their division, I mean, the Yankees have really distanced themselves. They've won 4 in a row and 8 out of 10 coming into play today and have a 7-game lead. But the thing about their division is it's so competitive. I mean, you could lose 5, 6, 7 in a row real quick no matter who you are.
No balls, 2 strikes. Another chance for Maben in center. And he ties a record held by many. 3 putouts in the 7th inning, and we are off to the 8th. This is Chris Tillman. Back to our AT&T Uverse trivia question. Which Brave has the highest batting average all time against the American League East? Minimum 35 at bats.
I'm going to go with Jeff Blauser.
All right, I love that call. I'm going to go with Chipper Jones.
Hang on.
He had more than 43 at bats against
43 at bats against the AL East?
Right.
I don't think so.
Chris Parmelee is here at first base for Crab Daddy. Flaherty. Anderson Simmons swings and misses.
I think we got a little miscount there somewhere.
So that counts as a W for us, right?
Yeah, it does.
One ball, 2 strikes.
This guy's kind of going to the whip, isn't he?
Yeah.
Best inning of the night was last inning, and now he's off to a good start here.
Well, if Ubaldo Jimenez can get on a roll, if this guy can get on a roll, and if the Orioles don't trade Kevin Gossman, who was electric in the series opener, that's 3 pretty good horses right there for the Orioles over the last 62 games.
That would be a very foolish thing to do, to trade Gossman, unless you got a huge return.
Little tapper. That might be a hit. It's not a bang play. Simmons called out at first, and he pointed at Terry Pendleton as he made his way across the bag. The Braves might want to take a look at this one.
Well, what a play by Wieters, number 1. I thought when he went out to get the ball, I thought, well, this would be a good test for that elbow. And he jumped on it, and I mean fired it kind of sidearm to get it there. Looks a little safe to me.
Yeah.
Nice stretch by Parmelee, but
the Braves are going to challenge the call, and wisely so. If it's overturned, the Braves would bring the tying run to the plate. Another look. Foot on the bag. So is there enough clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call at first? We'll find out in a moment.
Look from our high first camera. I'm going to have to say so. Foot's on the bag, ball's out of the glove. Perfect there and backed it up.
So for the moment, Simmons stands at first base, awaiting his fate, safe or out. And once the decision is made, Jace Peterson's going to be the next hitter up for the Braves. He's got to find a way to get something going on this road trip. They're 1-4 so far in St. Louis and Baltimore. We're off to Philadelphia for a 4-game set with the resurgent Phillies, who have played great after the break. Phillies have won 9 of 10 games since the All-Star game. Don't know if we'll see Cole Hamels in that series. Don't know if he'll be a Philly by the time we leave town.
Right.
But we believe Aaron Harang, the former Brave, is going to get the ball against Shelby Miller tomorrow night.
There you go. There's the picture you wanted to see. The ball, kind of a blur going into the glove with the foot already on the bag. Actually, they've already got the call. They know what the call is from New York. Those guys are just checking the traffic for us as we bus our way up
that's
to
right.
Philly.
Yeah, 2-hour ride to Philadelphia tonight. Somebody had a suggestion the other day on these close calls where you look for the clear and convincing evidence. Why not put a time on the challenge? If you can't come up with a clear and convincing call after, say, 2 minutes, then the call stands automatically. And this call will stand, or it's confirmed. Ben Simmons is out, number 1.
He missed it. Flat out missed it. Nice play by Wieters, though.
So the call stands is the official terminology. 9 straight have been set down by Tillman. As Joe said, he is going to the whip in the 8th inning. So Peterson doesn't represent the tying run. He's 0 for 2. That review is 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Nice crowd tonight, 29,328. The Birds will host the Tigers next. That is a fascinating team to watch. As far as the trade deadline is concerned, just a few days ago, the Tigers were in it. A couple days later, even after winning today, Boomerville says their storefront's open. You want Price, you want Cespedes, you want Avila, the catcher. Give Dave Dombrowski a call.
They got a lot of payroll. Sure they'd be willing to turn a lot of that over to someone else.
1-2 is hit to Hardy at short. 10 in a row retired. 2 out.
There's a reaction from Tillman, kind of like what we saw from Foltynewicz, in that he got away with a mistake. It was a changeup, I believe, that was letter high, but again, for about the 5th time tonight, a line drive hit right at somebody. And right there, you see him throw his arm in the air like, well, that was a miracle.
Yuri Perez, the batter, he's 0 for 2, but he made a great throw to third. He threw out Jonathan Scope, who tried to go from first to third on a 5th inning hit. Told you earlier that rumor mill says the Braves may be involved in a big trade with the Dodgers and the Marlins tonight. Can't confirm any of that. If it does go down, we hope to have news before we leave air. Perez tried to bunt.
Not on that guy.
Manny Machado, he's an all-star, you know, and it's 11 up, 11 down for Tillman, who's twirling a shot out at home. Good defensive work by the Braves tonight. And Mike Foltynewicz had a crackling fastball. 8 strikeouts for the young right-hander over 6 innings tonight. But no run support on our Zaxby's indescribably good plays. And here's how we got into the 8th. Our game summary brought to you by Lexus.
I thought Mike Foltynewicz pitched a great ball game. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, 2 solo homers, accounting for the only runs of the night. But Chris Tillman's been a little bit better. A 3-hit shutout working through his 8 innings.
So David Artsma back out for a second inning. And he delivers a strike to Manny Machado. 2 hits and a strikeout for Machado tonight. And then a cue shot out to Freddie Freeman. He's got it. He'll run it to the bag. And there's the first out of the inning. Jimmy Paredes is up next. He's 1 for 3. First inning single. A 3rd inning strikeout. And a 5th inning out to right.
No activity in the Orioles bullpen. Looks like Tillman will go out for the 9th. He's only thrown 90 pitches.
Ball 1. Baltimore is trying to earn its 8th shutout of the year. We're 6-3 in shutout games at home. As that one's popped out toward short, Simmons backpedals. Maben calls him off, and Cameron makes it. 2 out. Baltimore, the Braves, meanwhile, trying to avoid being shut out for a 10th time. As we told you, this is game number 6 on the road trip. The Braves have scored 9 runs in 6 games. Scored 3 or fewer in 7 consecutive and 9 of 12 counting tonight since the All-Star break. Adam Jones a strike. His modest hitting streak on the line in this at bat. He's down to his last strike. David Artsma's done a real nice job since joining the Braves.
And he's had to work in back-to-back games like tonight and pitched effectively in doing so.
His contract selected from Gwinnett on June the 9th. And part of a much improved Braves bullpen since the months of April and May. As far as the ERA goes, in July, the Braves pen having its best month this year. Jones didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jones gone off after some high pitches tonight. May have been what A.J. Pierzynski had in mind. Try to get him to chase another one.
Was given up a hit to a right-hand batter only 5 times with the Braves this year. And that'll continue as he just struck out Adam Jones. Very impressive 2 innings of work for Artsma. 6 up, 6 down. We are off to the 9th. Zach Britton may be looming. It's 2-0 Orioles. Chris Tillman as long as he can, and that's easy to understand. The big Baltimore hurler is our SunTrust save of the game tonight.
He's had a lot of line drives hit right at people, but he's also made good pitches, and there's a deflection that helped save a leadoff hit, potential leadoff hit. He has one complete game shutout in his career. That was last season. He's got a chance for one tonight.
And that was against a team that went to the World Series, the Kansas City Royals. So in the ninth for Atlanta, Castro, Markakis, and Maben are coming up. Tillman's retired 11 in a row. And a ground ball to second. Scopes got it. One out. Final chance for the Orioles fans to cheer for Nick Markakis. Nick has had a good series back in Baltimore, 5 for 12. And he'll take a 6-game hitting streak into Philly tomorrow night.
He didn't get his 9 hits, but he's had a good series and a real rewarding one for him, I think, with the way he's been treated.
Bounce to the right side, off the first baseman's glove, and the pitcher covers. There have been a couple of plays like that for Tillman. Wow. He didn't spectate. He ran to the bag. Good fundamental work by the pitcher. 2 out.
And how about Scope backing up?
"13 straight retired." And Cameron Maben, the final hope for the Braves.
Braves only have 3 hits, and 2 of them came back to back in the 5th inning. No one has reached since then.
There's a base hit the other way by Maben. He just served that ball, and he's on his way to second. He might think about 3. Nope, he's going to stop.
Well, his run means nothing. He was given the hold up stop sign by Bo Porter because it brings the tying run to the plate.
The crowd wanted to see Tillman face off with Freddie Freeman, but Buck Showalter had Zach Britton, the left-handed closer, up for this very reason. If anybody reaches and the game gets to Freeman, he's going lefty-lefty. Listen to the ovation for Chris Tillman. Find MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today. Time for our Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag South Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by T-Mobile.
Mid-90s gas and a slider. Gave up a home run to Adonis Garcia earlier in the series.
And that's who's on deck if Freeman can keep the game alive. He represents the tying run. Britton, an elite closer.
One blown save. 9 walks against 47 strikeouts.
A paint job. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Brady was late on that one.
One ball, 2 strikes for Freddie Freeman. Tillman was spectacular tonight.
Didn't get Freddie to chase that slider, but he doubled up on it.
Up the middle. Hardy's got it. The throw to first. And the Orioles have swept the Braves. Chris Tillman, 8 2/3 of shutout balls. Zach Britton comes on, saves the day by getting a Freeman ground out. The Braves lose 3 in a row in Baltimore. Final score tonight, Orioles 2, Braves nothing. Lots of news perhaps in Baltimore. We'll recap the game and see what's up when we come back to Camden Yards after this.
This copyrighted telecast is